Okay, so what we're doing here today is making some oven fries. Now, these are freezable. You can make them, but put them in the freezer, and then cook them up whenever you want them, and everything is delicious. So what you're gonna want to do is get some potatoes. The longer the better, because you're making fries. Don't get no stubby, shitty ones. And just however many you can fit in your pot and in your strainer, and get them all washed up and all that shit. Get a pot of water boiling here in your pot. And once that gets boiling, we're going to put some fresh cracked sea salt in there, a little bit of olive oil, and then boil up the sliced up potatoes. So yeah, we got to slice them first into just potato French fry sized slices, and then we'll throw them in there and boil them, drain them, season them, put them in the freezer, good to go. And if you're not fucking drinking, you should be, bud. There we go. Okay, so we got our potatoes sliced up. You can see kind of the size you're going for here. Now, you can kind of vary this depending on what you like. Of course, thinner is going to end up being crispier and all that stuff. But whatever you do, make sure you're consistent so that they all cook evenly when you finally do throw them in the oven to bake them. So we got our water boiling now. So now once it's boiling, not before it's boiling, once it is boiling, that's when we're going to go ahead and crack some fresh salt into there, as well as a bit of olive oil. Once that's in, we're going to throw our potatoes in, get them boiling about 4 or 5 minutes, and then yeah, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we got those in the pot. They're in the boiling water, etc. Now we're going to have these in here about 4 or 5 minutes or so. You don't want to leave them too long at this point in the process. You want to kind of err on the side of undercooked, because remember, these are just going to go in the freezer, unless you're going to go straight to the oven, but they are going to go into the oven at some point, and you don't want to have them overcooked. Basically what this step does is removes most of the water content from the potatoes themselves, and that water content is what, when you bake them, actually makes them soggy and gross and stuff. So removing that makes them crispier and tastier as fries. So yeah, about 4 or 5 minutes in the boiling water. What you'll do to test them is grab yourself a fork. You're going to stick it in, and it's going to go in easy but come out kind of sticky. And that's when you're going to know that they're ready to go. So got a few minutes to go on this. Well, and yeah, it's been about 5 minutes, so we need another drinky poo before we take these out here. There we go. Now see this white stuff up on top, that's when you know it's done, ready to go. You can see they're starting to boil finally after being in there for a while. So these are just about ready to take out, pour it in the strainer. So we're going to go ahead and do that right fucking now. Woo, that is fucking toasty, bud. There we go. They're strained out. As soon as they're strained out, turn on your cold water. Start running cold water over them right away. What that does is stops the cooking process immediately, so that they don't get any more cooked than they already are, because that lingering heat will continue to cook them unless you cool them down. Okay. Once you get your potatoes done, get like a cheesecloth or some other large piece of fabric you can dump them all out on, and start drying them off. You're going to pat dry them, get all the water out of there. Just throw them on there, spread them out. Start bringing this rag up over onto itself. Pat and dry. Let's get them as dry as you possibly can. Grab this here. The drier you get them at this stage, the better they're going to be, the better they're going to freeze, and the better they're going to be after they're frozen. So make sure you pat them really nice and dry. Don't want any lingering, obvious water on them, really. Just as dry as you possibly can at this stage. when you're doing that, of course, you need another drinky poo. Here we go. That's better. And just keep getting them dry. Just keep drying them. Drying them. Of course, you can use paper towels or whatever you have for this, but I just have this old cooking cloth my grandma gave me. It's clean, of course. And it does better than paper towels, and of course it's cheaper than paper towels because you're not using a shitload of paper towels for this sort of thing. Okay, those are looking pretty good. Now, next step. You're gonna need a big fucking bowl, bud. I'm talking big. Not that size. Not that size. Fucking that size. Right fucking there, bud. Put these other little tiny shits away. Because they're inadequate for the shit we about to do right now, bud. You're gonna take all your fries and put them in this huge fucking bowl there. Okay, go ahead and throw your rag in the fucking washing machine. So now we have steel mixing bowl full of boiled potato fry stick things. Now we're going to add our seasoning. This is the final step. Well, I guess the second to last step. The final one is actually freezing them. So, take your olive oil. Make sure you can see that when I'm doing it. I mean, you kind of can. You know what I'm doing. Go ahead and drizzle that on there. And then you're kind of going to do this to taste. Really is going to depend on how greasy you like your fries. I don't like them too greasy. I like them nice and crisp and somewhat healthy for you. So that should be plenty of oil. Next ingredient. Salt and pepper, of course. Always need salt and pepper. Then some minced onion. And paprika. Gotta have paprika on everything. Now you can also put some garlic powder on here as well. You can, you can't. Really doesn't. It depends on how you like your stuff. So here goes salt and pepper. And again, this is all to taste. It really depends on exactly how you like your fries. And of course, if you can have fresh cracked pepper and sea salt, that's the best as well. Works way better than that pre-ground shit you get at the store. At least I think so. So you go ahead and get that all up in that ass. Boom. Get your minced onions in there. And yeah, this is just all to taste. All how you like it. But these are the key ingredients to achieve that goal. It really makes some delicious, delicious oven fries. I like a lot of paprika, and the paprika gives it a nice rust color as well. So that's a plus, especially when you're going for seasoned fries. The rust color is a good color for those. Okay, once you got all that in there, you're going to go ahead and just toss. Mix it all around. Get that lower so you can see it. Just toss, toss, toss until it's all mixed up. Look at that, that's looking real good already. We have that rust color sort of going. We could probably add some more paprika to this, but that's no, I think that's good enough for me. Of course, it's the smell what you're going for, and that smells pretty good to me. So we're gonna leave it like that. Go ahead and get these frozen up, and that's all you do. Now, when it comes to freezing these, there's you could cook them right away and have them just totally fresh. I've done that a few times, but the beauty of this recipe is you don't have to. You can freeze them, and it doesn't alter the flavor, the taste, the texture whatsoever when you do the boiling and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and freeze these. Recommend using like big Ziploc bags or something. And also, when you do freeze them, a couple different ways you can do it. You can just throw them in a bag, freeze them, etc., and end up, they probably clump together and stick together, and then you have a hell of a time getting the correct portion to defrost and have for a meal. What you can also do is get a cutting board or just some aluminum foil, really, lay them all out individually, freeze them that way, and then once they're already frozen, go ahead and throw them in a bag. We don't have enough time or space to do that right now, so we're just going to put them all in one big container and freeze them. And again, that's about it. That's how you make the dankest freezable homemade oven fries. Healthy, cheap, delicious, goes with anything. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing, actually, how to cook them. I found that 30 minutes at 425 does these a really good job. So you can vary that depending on how crispy or how not crispy you want them. But 30 minutes at 425 seems to do the trick really nicely. So that's how you cook them.